I'm here to check the bearing, inner bearing, outside bearing. Make sure the bearings are still good. And if it's not, we're gonna replace them, put new grease. We do this every 30,000 miles. Well, I do every 30,000 miles. And I check my bearings. Depends how heavy, low, or how far I go. But this is normal routine. We're gonna show you. You can see we need a compact gun, and me, I got the cheapest one. That one, so far so good. Been 2 years. I got a 21 socket. You can see. So let's start. Take the tie off. Put it to the side. Get one of these hammer where mine's already beat up by. See that junk? Off. And then we have the little pin. You don't really have to worry about this. If it gets damaged, you always gotta have spare. Pain in the ass, take this off. Always have rags or paper towels in your hands. Now, for the bearing, you need a 1.5 socket with a 1/2 inch and one of these ratchet 1/2 inch. Go underneath the truck to lose the brakes. Here we got a plastic. Here to lose the brake. It's already loose. What you gotta do is pull it out, take the bearing, put it in there, and we're gonna check the bearings. So if you can see here, the seal is already getting messed up. The back seal, it has all this grease. So that means the brakes, they're about to start having grease. If you have grease here, your magnet is not going to grab. So this needs to be cleaned, and that needs to be replaced. To clean, to make sure the bearings are good. A little bit there. Wash them. Always don't forget to wear gloves. Very important. Right? So we're here. We look to see if any of these bearings are cracked or they've been eaten by when you don't put grease on it. So very important to check this. This is the small bearing, the outside bearing. So far this bearing is good conditions. Doesn't have that much fire play. I'm gonna show you one that it was really bad. So I took this one this morning, so this is what I'm talking about. See, when it's like this, you always gotta make sure before they go bad not to have this type of problems, because at the end of the day, this is gonna get messed up and it's gonna get welded on the axle. So that's one bad. So you always clean it. Make sure ain't nothing wrong with the bearing. Like I said, the only bad one was the one that we just saw, which is this one. Always make sure you don't have this type of problems on your bearings. And always clean a bunch of bearings, caps, these seal plugs, back seals, inner bearings, and outer bearings. So now we're going to check this, make sure there isn't damages to it. So clean it. No scratches. Everything's pretty smooth. Always got to make sure that this is smooth. First I always clean it and I put a little bit new grease, but you don't have to. That's why you put grease inside the drum. So now we're going to take the bearing with the seal. So I got me this small hammer, screwdriver. Put it in there. Make sure you put it on the bearing. Hit it a couple of times. Flip this over. And let me show you guys. So the the seal, has this little spring that goes in the back of this rubber piece here. This gives pressure to this rubber piece on the seal. So as soon as this is loose, that means you need to replace it, because damages are right here. That's damage. So it's getting damaged over here too as well. That's why it came off, and that's why it was starting to see grease in the back of the drum. So we're going to check our inner bearing. Let's go clean it out. Now a lot of people like to get their hands dirty, but this is something easy you could do on your truck. Me, I don't mind getting my hands dirty. Cheaper. And see this over here? So there's another issue. The bearing is already messed up. These little rails here, they're not supposed to be that deep. So when you hold it, that gap in between shouldn't be. So this one has a lot of play already. So that means this bearing is not good anymore. Other option is you can keep it for a spare. Don't throw them. You never know when you're gonna need something that to at least move you a couple of hours. I keep them myself. Like I said, you always keep them for last you about a couple of 6 hours. I don't push it more than 6 hours, but if you have the spare, replace it. So let's get the spare and we're going to compare. So as you can see, guys, I'm holding it, no gaps. See, no gaps. A little bit of fire play, which is normal. That's how these things are made for. But see, the old one, you hold it, from there, it's a lot of play. Too much. See this gap? And when you push it up, you got the gap here. See this? You hold it, nothing. You push it, nothing. and you see it's even on the side. So now it's so dirty. Let me clean it. First I got the grease bearing, very handy. Pump the grease pump, these two, and plug it right there, and just pump grease on it. Normally it's clean, but it's dirty. Grease bearing, just sit it there. These, put it in there, and you squish. Squish. On this. Hard doing it with one hand. Make sure you have a lot of grease so you don't have the issue that I have right now. Or if you don't want to spend money on that grease, pump, get you a grease bucket. I know there's more bigger ones, but I'm good with this one. So what you do is, if you don't have the greaser, got the screw, see, you can screw this in there. Screw it. Take it off. Grease in there. Some grease. In your hands. Close this cheaper block. Stick it back in there. And screw it. Bearing, put it back in there. Now, like that. See how beautiful this is? All the grease from here needs to come all the way to the top. Then you go around. Again, this is a dirty job. Not a lot of people like it. So do this. Grease in there. Then go right, clean. Back. Now that you change your, put a new bearing on it, you're gonna make sure there is no old grease. That grease needs to be taken out. Now you put your bearing inside, facing the big top, bottom, and the small side to the top, bottom. Sit right there. Clean around. Shouldn't be any grease. Very clean. So now we got the back seal. You see what I'm talking about? There's the spring right there. That spring holds gets over here. So the spring sits right here, just like that. And you see the spring pressures around, so that way the grease don't come in the back. So now, I'm gonna install this. Get you a little piece of wood. I got a little piece of 2x4. You can find this, you know, go to a construction area, or you could go to Home Depot and buy the 2x4. You sit it, the hammer. First, you start in the middle. And then you go around. And make sure this is flush. You can see when you pass your finger, you're gonna feel a little gap, but this is flush right here. And just make sure to clean where the magnet sits. And that is done. Again, put a little bit of grease. It's up to you. Everybody makes their own way, but I like it. Make sure your brakes are good though. If they're lower than this, you need to replace them. The magnet should be good too. No dents, no scratches. Always make sure this magnet is in perfect conditions, like you can see here. Well, mine's about to replace the little crack right there. You could get this in e-trailer or any store. Just replace their magnet. Easy to cable over here. Easy to take off, easy to install. Or you don't want to do that much work, just change the whole brakes. Make sure there's some scratches. No scratches. Now we're gonna install it. Put it. Pressure. Now it's on. Now we go to the small bearing. We check this one. It didn't have no damages. Everything is good. Now, it didn't have no damages in there, but if you look here inside, there's a little bit scratch. You can still put it on if you want to, but I choose, if I could replace it, see right here, that is not good. Right there. That, you have to replace it. Even though here is good, that is not good. So get a new one. That's the part for the outside bearing is 14125A. That's the part number for a 7K axle. And I get you guys the inner bearing is 25580. That's the part number for the big bearing, the one that goes in the back. So now we're gonna grease this one. Put it in there. Get a little. Then we'll give a little squish. See this? All the grease has to come out of here and the other end. That means the bearing, the inside of the bearing is very packed. This is the way that you pack your bearings. If you don't see the grease coming out of this side or that side, it depends how you put it, but that's how it goes. That means you didn't pack your bearing right. But if you see all the grease coming out of here, that means your inside of the bearing is very good packed. So then go around. And now I did a little work. Since I didn't put the grease on the bearing before I put it on the axle, what I do is rub with the finger. Little by little. I'm sorry, I put the drum before putting grease inside. So I'm gonna take it off again. Take it off. And then see right here. You grab, you put grease inside. That grease is gonna sit right behind the bearing, right in front of the bearing. It's very important to have that grease in there. So now, you made a little mess on your hands. Go back. Install it. Easy as that. Now we have our small bearing pack. Small side goes inside. Big side stays outside. Goes in there. We have the washer. Washer has small scratches. I mean, it's personal. I don't like it. It's damaged. So the new washer, no scratches, clean. Put it in here before you put your it. And this is a big process, guys. If you don't have the patience, you want to spend money, you can do it. But it's not that hard. It takes a long time, that's it. So me, the way I tight this is with the pressure on my arm. It can be too tight, can be too loose. So you gotta make sure not to push it. Right there. Give a couple of rounds, turn a couple of times. Always clean your mess. I always clean my mess because I don't like it. Yeah, DOT sees a lot of grease on your drums. They're gonna put you over. Always make sure your drums are clean. Now, before I put, there's a new pin. Before I put the pin, I like to put the towel. The way that I do, that I screw my, tie my nuts on the, I go from here, here, then here, here. I do a crossways. Let me show you. Done. So always make sure after you put the bearings, don't have fire plate on the tire. When you want to check your bearings, you can do it from here to here, or you can do it 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock. 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock. No fire plate.
Great.
And make sure, this is how you can tell the bearing is not too tight and not too loose. So now, get the pin. You gotta play with this.
What's the time for baby?
Get a little hammer. Stick. Make sure this is not sticking out. You gotta bend it as much as you can. Nope. Again, guys, don't forget to clean the bearings. I got the grease cap. A lot of people would like to put grease on the cap, but I do. Because when the grease overheats from there, comes over here, then goes back inside. Now, put it, press it. Done. And for the guys who don't know the size of 14 plier, that's my type of tire that I usually use. Very good tire. 235/16 is a 14 plier. Right here. 14 ply tire, all steel. Right here. Don't be cheap. Don't be putting them 10 pliers tires. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and any questions, I'll be glad to answer. So again, don't forget to subscribe, like,